Now, oh, steady it. Let's see how we are now. So now, everyone, as you've seen there, we're ready to go. We'll start cutting. I have to follow my father across the field. Oh, Christ. Not good at running. It is a bit of a control spot to get out of. Right. There we go. It's a lovely tractor, that's what it is. Smashing tractor. Anyways, so we gotta go up here now and just follow me father across the field. He's going across the field first to split the field into two halves, so that when we're cutting it, we don't get caught out in the middle of the field having to go off and around and back. It's quite a big field. It actually looks like it's going to rain there. That doesn't look, that sky doesn't look very promising, so it doesn't. So now we're heading across and following my father, and then we're going to turn up the tram line and drive on the tram line like that there, and just to follow, so we're not tramping any crop, because we reckon that he'll have more than full the trailer trying to get around half the field. There's, what's in the field? There's 26 acres in the field.
The spray, go back there now, just rubber back. There's a bit that was missed at the spray.
No, just as my uncle pointed out there, you can see a stripe there that didn't get any spray. Now, probably a head spray where it got missed. But anyways, that's a bit that got missed, just to show
you what spray can do.
Yeah, show you probably a head spray got missed and a bit of disease got into, and that's why it turned that blacky colour rather than the golden colour that is. So we may tip across here fairly lively now. But we're hoping now we'll get a good yield off this. Whoa. Across the field. So now we get into the tramline track. Just assessing the crop there now. Shut my roof. Oh. Try and keep a bit of the dust out. Yeah, that sky now is just not looking promising at all. So that's it now. It's just starting to rain there. So yeah, we're milling this now. We've the mill and the harvester. Now my father was just telling me the other day, I always thought the mill and the harvester just crush the grain like the mill, like the actual mill that we have, but it doesn't. It run the two well, I just call them mills, the two rollers are running at different speeds, and it shatters the grain as it goes through it, and that's how it cracks it. It cracks it up. We'll go back here. It cracks it up, and that's how it cracks the grain. And you need to crack the grain, otherwise it won't feed right. The cattle, it'll go through the cattle. The cattle won't be able to make any use of it if you don't mill the grain. That's why it has to be milled. If now we have the last crop or the last field of, it's actually wheat again. It's all spring wheat that we're putting in. I think we have spring barley. Yeah, we do have spring barley to go in as well. But the last bit we'll be cutting, you'll see later on, it's green. It's not near ripe, or it's well off being ripe, but still very green. And we won't mill that because the grain is still very cheesy. It's too soft. If you try milling, when it's soft, you don't need to mill it because the cattle will be able to break it down in their stomachs and digest it. But when it is that kind of soft, you can't mill it, as it just creates a paste on the rollers, and it'll damn you, it'll clog it, it'll give you awful trouble. There's quite a lot of wild oats in this now. Probably have to hit this with a wild oat spray next year just to try and curb that. There's quite a bit now in this end of the field. So anything else then? So yeah, this is the ripest crop we have of grain to be whole cropped. and this will be going in on the bottom of the pit. This is why we're cutting this first. It's the driest. This is the most ripest, so you put your driest, ripest crop in first, and then we go through it and we put till the least ripe crop, which is the green wheat we have. We'll just call it green wheat because it is still pretty green. It's very green actually. And then we'll put our grass silage on top of that. And the reason you do that is because this is so dry. If it's too dry or too ripe, it has a tendency of heating and going fusty or mouldy over fermenting properly. So when we put the wetter or the damper crops in on top, any bit of effluent or anything like that will soak down, will run down into the dry stuff, and that soaks it up. And we put the silage in on top. I've seen it before. We met one year, we had a very pretty much wet silage. It just, the weather come bad and we just had to get it in. And there was literally no runoff on the pay. If that was just the normal pay silage, you would have had thousands of gallons of runoff. This, not a thing, because the whole crop soaked up every bit of it. It kept all the nutrients that was going to be lost out of the grass and the effluent, all the sugars in the pit, and it had a great job done on it. A huge, fantastic job done on preserving the whole crop. That's probably one of the biggest troubles with the whole crop. If it gets too dry, is it can be hard to keep. And then when you put the silage on top of it, that helps it, and also gets rid of the crow problem, as birds will tear plastic off a whole crop just to get at it. When you put grass on top, that pretty much eliminates that problem, and also the same with the rats. The rats love it as well. So that's two reasons why we go with the grass on top. So I'll just stop here now. We will be able to cut if a small bit of rain falls. It's not going to be the end of the world. So it's not. If some rain falls, if we get heavy downpour, it'll be too much. We just will not be able. What the problem is, it'll take a certain percentage of damp wetness, but when it gets too wet, too damp, it'll start clogging the mill, and you're at nothing. You spend more time trying to dig it out of it than anything else. So quite a lot to cut there. There's actually a few patches up here that went down, but I think I'll leave it at that now, and we'll either skip on to the load fill or the next exciting thing that happens. I can't think of anything else to tell you about Wholecrop at the minute. If I think of anything else, I'll say it later on. I'll probably end up repeating myself, as I usually do. So I'll leave it at that for now. So we're just after filling our load there. Nicely packed load. You can't overpack Wholecrop, as you lose the half of it going down the road, so it'll just blow away. You can see them cutting away there, finishing filling out the other trailer. So we'll follow the tram lines back and then get out. Now, as you can tell, it's absolutely pissing. Well, it has, as I think it's actually starting to clear off again. He's still cutting away, so maybe we might have got away with this little, well, it's a nice bit of rain now. It's left everything fairly wet. You can see the bonnet there. It's fairly wet, and all the shaft has been sticking to it. So it's a bit of a 50-50 now, whether we'll be able to stay going or not. But my father still is going, so I'd like to think that we are okay to keep going. But I suppose on the way home or at some stage, if I should get a phone call if we're not going, not to come back up. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But we will bay on now and head home, tip this load, and come back up for the next one. Hopefully, all going well, fingers crossed. So I'll leave it at that till the next interesting thing. So now we're back in the yard, just going to tip the first load. It looks like it hasn't rained that much here. We had a bit of a shower before we left, but doesn't look like it rained too much here now. So hopefully now they're still cutting away, and we should have no. Hopefully now it stopped raining since I left, and they're able to keep going. We have another tractor and trailer on the job drawn now. There's a John Deere and a big Smith trailer. You might have seen him in some of my other videos. He's come to give us a dig out, try and get this field drew back to the house, just because it's such a long bloody draw. I don't know, 40 minutes to get back to the yard, half an hour, 40 minutes. So it's an hour or a bit more than an hour round trip like. And we'll be hoping for a load to the acre or more. Hopefully it's 26 acres, so we're looking for a 26 load like, so it's going to be a fair bit now to get it back. Probably won't get it all done today, I wouldn't imagine now. So I wouldn't imagine we'll get it done. We'll get out now and we'll have a look at this, just to examine it. Between me and my uncle, we will push it up. We'll keep it pushed up in between, drawn till either my sister gets home or my girlfriend gets home, or the young lads that works for us, he'll be coming to draw. So whichever one of them gets back first, they'll be going drawing, and then my uncle will draw till then, and then he'll look after the pushing up. So we'll just go and we'll have a look at the crop. It's the first load in the pit. So when we, probably this evening now, when we quit, we'll go and we'll put in the wall covers, but until then there's no point stopping. So that's it there. Lovely stuff, lovely and grainy now, that's what you want, lots of grain in it. Grain is barely cracked now in that. There's quite a small grain in that, just that bit there now. We'll go have a look in here. Slightly bigger grain. Still, grain is a bit on the small side. I suppose it hasn't filled out yet. It's only hasn't fully finished ripening and filling out. But might want to look into that, see if we can get that rolled a bit better. Because if it's in full, if it doesn't get any sort of a crack, it'll the cattle just won't digest it. It just goes through them. But when it's the greener stuff, the shell isn't as hard and they can digest that. But in that slightly riper stuff, they won't digest it. So it's a good bit to go now. So I may bait on back out, get back up there, keep this show on the road, try and get more of this back. So that is it. I will get back up there. So we'll skip on to the next interest. So just while we're on the road now, something I just thought of saying. Now, some of you may see the loader, and I do often get comments, especially on Snapchat, why don't we take off the loader, why do we leave it on it, and all of that. And the simple reason is, today it's in the way, tomorrow I need it. And it's not the simplest job getting on and off. Now, it's a bit of a job, you know yourselves, anyone that's taking on and off loader. It's not something you want to do every other day. And like yesterday, our Jeep was in getting fixed, getting a new clutch in it, and I tipped around all the calves with the bucket on it and fed up all the calves. And today I'm drawing Wholecrop, I don't need it, and tomorrow I might need it for something else. And it's a sheer thing of we're using it quite a lot, especially when we're at the hay end up bringing in hay and bringing in straw. We've used the loader in this quite a lot, so it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's, as much as people say it's a bit of a hindrance, and it is. It sticks out them couple of feet in front of you, especially when you're coming out of tight areas or a place where you can't see a whole lot. It does stick out quite a lot, and it does make a big difference and not having it. But in all fairness, just lift it up out of the way. It's a bit the same. So I just said I'd say that while I was driving through the village of Keena there. So I'll skip on, probably do another bit when we're back in the field. Maybe get some nice shots with the selfie stick out the window. Maybe we'll see how we got on, and we'll skip on to that. So now we're just back up at the field there now. I think they must have had either stopped because of the rain or something happened, because there's a good bit of a delay. I was pretty much more than halfway, about 3/4 of the way here when I met the first trailer coming back. And from what I can see there, my father is filling the trailer at the minute. So they must have had whether the roller's jammed after the rain or whether he just pulled up for a few minutes after the rain, I couldn't tell you. But definitely something happened. So I'd say it's a tough one now because that goes way down and back up. I'd say my father should probably make it up to the top of this, I reckon. So we'll go this way and we'll see. So that's pretty much the field open now, so it's a matter of running down the rest of it. The bottom down there you can sort of see grass and that's just an absolute shithole, just piss wet area down there at the bottom, that you just can't plough to do anything with it. So but that's it. So you can see there again that strip my uncle was on about, just where the tram lines weren't put in right and the sprayer just missed. Well maybe now there was a nozzle blocked on the sprayer and that's why, but just that bit missed where the head spray. Now you may notice in the other bit we went through 2 spots of barley, and that was because after this was sown, pretty much I think it was, we sowed this in the end of February and the weather broke then for March and we had an awful wet spell and we ended up with 2 floods in the field. About an acre of it didn't germinate, didn't grow. So we went back then when it dried off, this crop, the wheat was well established, and we just did a bit of leftover barley seed and we just shook it into it and just have some growing there. And it grew a nice little crop of barley and it'll be going into the whole crop, so it never really mattered. We were never going to combine this field. Winter stuff for combining, as I said in my last video, or when we were combining, the winter stuff is for combining and the spring stuff is for whole crop, and just try and take a bit of the risk out of the job. So I don't know how way they're going now, but we'll just tip up after them so we can get filled. So yeah, no, everything whatever stopped them. I'd say they probably stopped for a few minutes just to let it dry off, maybe 20 minutes or that, just to try and let the crop dry a bit. There is good drying out now at the minute. The sun is in and out between the clouds and there's a good wind out. There's a good drying there in that breeze. So that is that. So we get ready now to pick a load and start shutting down windows, because it's very dusty. There is kind of a high percentage of loss, you could say. A lot of what you can see blowing is only chaff. Like, what you're after is the grain. The grain is what you're after. The straw is just sort of a buffer and just to give it a bit of a bulk. Like, if you have a good tall crop, a whole crop, you're not cutting it at the scut, bringing all that straw. You'll bring 4 or 5 inches of straw and that's really it. Like, you don't need the straw. You're really just after that grain, and it's just a good way of preserving it and feeding it, and it's huge feeding, fantastic feeding. It's something we've been doing for a very long time, Wholecrop. You may have seen in one of my Throwback Thursday videos from a good while ago, the very first time we cut Wholecrop. I don't know if it was 97 or 98, I'm actually not sure at all. But it was something like that when we cut the first Wholecrop at the JF 900. And we caught with disc mower or drum mowers and picked it up with the 900. So I think I'll leave it at that now, and we'll pick another load and we'll head home again. And if anything interesting happens, as always, I'll show you. Might try and get a few nice shots when I'm filling a load maybe, and we'll just see how the day goes, see what happens. It's very hard talking about what's going to be in the video at this stage when you're only filming it. It just blows my mind every time I think about it. But anyways, that's it. We'll get underneath this bow and we'll get her load on, so I'll leave it at that. So now everyone, so we have 5 load back, and I'm just going to give it a little shove up. Between me and my uncle will keep it shoved up, and just giving it a bit of a shove up just to keep the thing right so we don't end up tipping it out too far. we'll just get this shoved up a bit, and we won't give it too much for a roll, and just to push it back out of the way so we can keep tipping in, so we can, that's all we want to do. Wholecrop is very spongy because it's pretty much just straw. It's very spongy compared to grass. And on a pit doesn't have walls, if you're trying to push it up on an unwalled pit, oh good God, tonight it just keeps pushing out and pushing out and pushing out. It's damnable stuff to get done right when you don't have walls. We'll park this and we will go bring down some more. So that's only 5 load there now, so we get another 20 load in that. Now it will pack down a lot, especially when we get time to get it rolled, when we get more staff back from work, and we get more, my uncle can spend his time at it. It will pack down quite a lot. It's the nature of the stuff. So we'll just back down here, just well out of the way now. We're not in the way of anyone coming in to tip the next few load. So we'll bay on now, go get the next one. We'll skip on to whatever's interesting next. So hello everyone, it's getting on now, it's 7:30. My uncle is rolling the pit now all the time, he's keeping it well rolled. I just said I'd give it a bit of a show if I could at all. Probably show when I get turned, but anyways, the last load I was just in with the boss man in the harvester, and we will be going all night till we get that field cut. We're going till we get that field cut, however long it takes, because there's to be a ferocious amount of rain tonight, and we want to get it cut and out of the way, and then all that we have to do tomorrow, then when it does dry off, is a short draw, which shouldn't be too bad. So we've quite a bit come out of there now. I think I'm on my, how many load is this now? This is either my 4th or 5th load. There's a bag of powder and it wants to come down. It's bulking up here as well.
It's not much better than last year.
Yeah.
Only 17 load last year.
Yeah. So there'll be a load today or even more, will there?
More.
More.
30 load it is.
30 load.
It was up something rain down now.
Yeah, I don't know, have I 4 or 5 load brought down?
5.
I think it's 5, yeah.
Yeah.
5 load down, and then everyone else, George at 5.
All of 5 now.
All of 5 now. Car jets, yeah. Right. Keep going.
You really can't be about it. And just about have your mother.
No, I live's gone.
Oh, live's gone. All right.
Okay. So now, That's the pit there, rolling in nicely. It's going to be a big pile of stuff now. If we are roughly just talking between ourselves there, we have more than half the field cut, but we're about two-thirds of the field cut. So another third to go in on top of that, and then I suppose between the other 2 blocks of land, is there the same again? Tight enough. What's in that? There's 10 acres there, 16, 14 acres there, another 24 acres to go in, so we are actually at the 50 acre mark. And then my father's hemming and hawing about another big ground, whether it's ripened, it's actually come very quick to what I thought, and then whether we'll put it in this round or we'll put it in the next round, as we have more whole crop to do, but we won't do that probably until the beginning of September. I'd imagine beginning of September we'll finish the last of the whole crop, in which the late zone spring barley, I think spring oats as well, or spring wheat, I can't remember, but spring crop anyways. So quite a bit in there. I'd be reckoning now at the rate that's going, our pit of whole crop should be nearly the size of the pit of silage, and then we'll have a pit of silage to go on top of the whole lot again. So it's going to be quite a big pit of stuff, which will be great, and for ourselves now great, so we'll be able to feed all our cattle. So I will leave it at that till the next interesting thing that happens, so we'll leave it at that. So now everyone, it's just starting to get pretty dark now. Still have a good bit to go. I said there's another 2 rounds of loads anyways, I would imagine. Well, maybe not now, maybe not. There's actually have a well shook now. There's there'll be 1 round of a load. This might actually be my last load now, just looking at this. Just taking a hint there now. This could actually be my last load. Just gonna have to wait and see. When I get the load finished, I'll know. My father will give me the classic 2 thumbs up, and that's it. 1 thumbs up, you're okay. 2 thumbs and you get that, that's your finished. I don't know, can you maybe see me? You know, you get 2 thumbs and you get that. That means you're finished. So when we get this load finished, we're going to be finished for the evening. And then we have the same again to pick tomorrow. Only it's a lot closer to home, so we should have it done in no time at all. And then we have to start knocking meadows. We get the 2 mowers going. We get the John Deere and the Cavernaland or the Tariff mower going, and we get all our meadows knocked. We've the guts of 50-60 acres there to be knocked, to be put into the pit. That will be excluding the field for the silage day. If we including the field for the silage day, so there'll be about, there's 20 acres there, and there's maybe there's 80 acres. It's hard to know. I'm an awful bad judge when it comes to trying to figure out how many acres we have. But all I know is there's 33 acres in the field for the vintage silage day, and then after that then there's 40 acres roughly, maybe. It's about 70 acres altogether. We have 40 acres to be put in either before the vintage silage day or after. Hopefully we'll get some in beforehand. It just all depends on how we get on. We have to get all that mowed. Now the field for the vintage silage day, half will be mowed, but half of it won't be. Well, maybe a bit more than half of it. We'll knock off the rounds, we'll lift the rounds and that, and just turn off the lights. So yeah, no, I said I'd leave it at this. It's starting to get quite dark, and you won't be able to see much more. If I did have to come back for another load, you wouldn't see a whole lot. Hopefully I'll finish this video when we get all the whole crop in the pit. I don't think I'll bother videoing any of tomorrow's activities in regards to drawing or anything like that, because I have so many videos made to be edited, to be put up, and God who knows when this one is going to go up. I'll try and get caught up with myself, try and keep the videos a bit more relevant than they are, so to speak, because probably by the time you're watching this, I'd say it's been at least 2 weeks since I've actually done this work. And that's the problem I have at the minute. I did so much videoing during the whole cropping and that, or not the whole cropping, during the harvest, that I just have so much to try and get up, and not to try and overload having videos a day and having time to actually get it all edited and that. it's just a bit of a juggle to get it all done. So also something I was thinking to say when I was coming back up, we are putting powder on this. We're putting the same powder on the Wholecrop. You can, well, you might be able to see it, but you might see it in some other shots, the yellow powder box on the side of the harvester. Put on the same powder that goes in with her crimp, exact same powder. It's just to help it ferment, keep it better, and that. And yeah, no, I think that is really it. So hopefully now at the end of this video we'll be looking at the pit after we have it all in, just assessing the size of it and how we yielded in the end with all the other bits of feed or the other fields that we had to put in. And then we're going to looking at drawing in silage. Probably might do a video at the silage day. She's just, anyways, I'm going to stop babbling on. I'm pretty tired now, and I'm ranting and raving, so I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just in case I do not get to do what I hope to do, please like and subscribe to my channel. Good luck.